Hi, Eladim. Today we are going to talk all about the Pesach story. So the Torah tells us how a long time ago the Jewish people were living in a country called Egypt. In Hebrew we say Mitzrayim. Now the ruler of the country, the ruler of Egypt was called Pharaoh. In Hebrew we say Paro. Now you might remember this from Parsha, how Yosef was in Mitzrayim and he had helped Paro a long time ago. He helped him come up with a plan of how to store food for when there was a hunger in Mitzrayim. And Paro was very grateful to Yosef, and he was very kind and good to him and to Yosef's family and to the Jewish people. But Paro forgot all about how Yosef helped him, and now he acted differently to the Jewish people. He did not act nice at all. The Jewish people were a very big nation. There were lots and lots of Jewish people, and there were lots and lots of Jewish children. And Paro was worried. He said, if the Jewish people become such a big nation and such a great nation, they might become even bigger and greater than me and my Egyptian people. And I would not want that to happen. I'm going to come up with a plan of how to stop the Jewish people from becoming so big and from becoming so great. I know what I'm going to do. Paro made a big announcement in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. He said, guess what, everybody? We are going to go and build some new cities in Mitzrayim. In Egypt, in those times, the kinds of buildings that people built were called pyramids. Here is a picture of some pyramids. This is actually a real picture of the pyramids in Egypt. If you go to Egypt today, there are still pyramids there, still ancient buildings from a long, long time ago. And this is the shape, this is what they look like. So Paro said, okay, everybody, I need all of your help to help us build these new cities called Pithom and Ramses, and help us build these big, beautiful buildings. At first, Paro paid the Jewish people for their hard work. And do you know what he did? One day, he even came himself. And he even helped out with some of the building. And people heard that Paro himself was helping out with the buildings. They said, oh, I think we should go. That sounds like a very important thing to do. And people helped out. And if a Jewish person didn't come, the other Egyptians would tell them, hey, why aren't you coming to help? Why aren't you coming to help out our country? This is something really important that you need to do. So soon, lots of Jewish people, almost all the Jewish people were going to help build these new cities, Pithom and Ramses, building the pyramids. But after a little while, Paro stopped paying the Jewish people for coming. And if somebody didn't come to work that day, Paro appointed officers that were like policemen. And they had a list of all the Jewish people and where they lived. And they would knock on their door and they'd say, hey, where are you? You have to come to work today. And the people just had to listen. Whether they liked it or not, they would have to come to work. And Paro, he stopped giving them money for their work. He just made them work and work and work. And he did not pay them. That's called making somebody a slave. It's called slavery. When somebody works for you and you don't pay them at all. Paro made the Jewish people his slaves. And every day they would have to work really, really hard for King Paro. Now the Jewish people said, Paro, we're so tired. We're so busy building and working for you. Do you think we can take a break? Do you think we can go home to rest? But Paro said, nope, you have to keep working for me. You are my slaves. So the Jewish people continued to work, and they were working so hard, and they kept building for Paro. And the Jewish people said, Paro, we're so tired. Do you think we can go home and maybe celebrate Shabbat? We want to light candles. We want to make kiddush. We want to have a nice dinner with our families. But Paro said, nope. You have to keep building for me and keep working for me. You are my slaves. So the Jewish people kept working and kept building. And they said, "Oh, Paro, we have been away from home for a long time. We are working and working and working for you. Do you think maybe we can take a break and go home to see our families?" But Paro said, "Nope, you have to keep working for me. You are my slaves. You have to just work and get no rest." The Jewish people, how do you think they felt? Do you think all that hard work made them happy? No, it did not make them happy at all. It made them really, really sad. They said, "We want to go home. We want to rest. We want to see our families. We want to spend time with our children. We want to go home. We want to celebrate Shabbat. We want to have time to study Torah. But we can't because Paro makes us work all day and all night, working and building for him." The Jewish people were so sad that they cried to Hashem and cried. They said, "Hashem, please help us. Paro is being so mean to us." Do you think Hashem was listening? That's right, he was. We're going to hear more about how Hashem listens to them and about what happens next. But for now, we're going to sing a little song about how King Paro made the Jewish people work really hard. So can you pretend to take out a really big shovel and pretend to take out a hammer? And we're going to act out the motions and sing along with this song.
Bang, 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 hold your hammer low. Bang,
Bang, bang, bang,
give a steady blow. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light.
So take out your big shovels. Pretend you're holding one.
Dig, get your shovel deep.
Dig, dig, dig.
There's no time to sleep. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light. Bang, 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 hold your hammer low. Bang, 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 give a heavy blow. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light. Dig, dig, dig your shovel deep. Dig, 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 there's no time to sleep. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light.
All right. Now, Paro was trying to stop the Jewish nation from growing. But guess what? His plan wasn't really working too well. So he said, "I'm going to make the Jewish people work even harder. Until now, I was giving them bricks, supplying them the bricks and whatever they needed to build. But I'm going to make a new law, a new decree. And from now on, the Jewish people are going to have to find their own materials to make bricks out of. They're going to have to make the bricks themselves and then build the buildings. I'll still give them straw. That's the one thing I'll still give them to build, to make bricks. But everything else, they need to go find it by themselves, make the bricks, shape them, wait till they dry, and then build the buildings. Because I want them to work even harder than they have already been working." Paro was finding ways to be even crueler to the Jewish people and make them work even harder. But his plan wasn't working so well. The Jewish people kept growing. So he said, "You know what? Guess what? I need to think of more ways to make the Jewish people work really hard. If there's any Egyptian who sees a Jew or needs some help out in their house, or needs some help on their farm, or needs some help in their garden, they too can make that Jewish person their slave. That means they can get that person to come, work for them, have them do whatever they tell them. And will they have to pay them? No, they just make them work and work and work." And that was another really mean plan of Paro, how he got the Jewish people to work so hard they had no time to rest, no time to study Torah, no time to do mitzvos, no time to see their families. And like we said before, did that make the Jewish people happy? They were really sad, and they cried out to Hashem for help. And of course, Hashem was listening. Next time, we're going to hear more about Mean Paro and about the Jewish people and how Hashem helped them. Bye-bye, Yeladim.